Alright, Warhammer, you ready to rumble? Okay. So, me, Valentine Rabbit, dropping rabbits inside of here. This is my Corn Army setup. So, if you're new to the base inside of the Warhammer standards, this is generally appropriated into the military as far as your officer structures, your standard army, enlisted, warrant, and officers is generally how I start it here, but we do it from the ground foundation of a mill masonry worker. And this is the Corn Army. This is bigger than anybody's army, bud. We'll get into here to actually some of the other books, but hang with me for the material I give you. And the way to set this up as well. This is its very own Warhammer board. While we're getting into it, you'll see different orientations in the ways that this Energizer Bunny comes at you. Here we got, Allison Steffa, Dave's $2,000 PIRT, interest rate over time, equations, and the derivatives of most of the pie chart. Our conversation started right now in terms of the algebraic. It's a really old person based on pictograms of letters of cultures and countries while trying to figure out the cuneiform and hieroglyphs on the wall, Pharaoh. So hang with me here, and I'll give you I'll give you a corn garden. I'll let them run around in. All right, so this is definitely going to be the Putnam for the area in that system. This is always in the area. It's one of those trick questions mathematicians give you about alpha being that first step in the wrong order that you might have to reorganize or condense, right? We're changing scale around to how much work, how do I arrange that equation so it doesn't run off in just this practice ASVAB, right? Because we're gonna radically change N, Y, F, the environment for energy into computer programming later, but it's off the hop, right off the front. Definitely what they'll need is this field trip of students, Y, N number of students with Y numbers of males. It's human nature. You cover it like gravity in the corn grow. You can't force corn to grow. It'll only get done when it's done, and you can do some stuff with the derivatives, partial derivatives, and what we know and we don't know while trying to set up this equation. What it'll actually look like to either write out so I can get some other kid to generally follow it amongst our numbers, right? That's what's in the pipe usually. We can deal with the geometry and structure of that equation, right? Because it's just going to be in here different. I just lined it up a little different for you. There's some of them are going to be stock players. Some of them are going to be, running the Tesla and Boot Barn numbers. Just the Mills guys. Just that's your simple version of it. I'll fire you. It's Armakowski in space. Ricci tensor. Click in the back. On here, we can play this Chernobyl floor plan a lot of different ways in terms of what this code represents and the reasoning behind the geometry of this extruder for the LBSs on your tent tonight for making the brick of the two lines in the three-dimensional Pythagorean theory here for this horse track or portion of the Hadron Collider you're in. This is the daily flush, right? I can't take it all unless I'm whole company command of the pie chart. The pie chart here. The pie chart in terms of what it is inside of here about the forbidden SP, N order, F order, or however else you're going to pop it through Euler's number to change math to, alright, you take it to 50 decimal points, bud. You're pretty good in a comprehensive layout like that. So, we want that kind of concept and model and be running alternate sets. We're going to make sure that we get this is the Warhammer board right here. This math problem right here against corn, right? That's that thing in the background you looking at, really. Bowser's House and old Lou. If we can play those pieces in certain areas, and you're just one of the guys inside of here, that'll help you cubic out that area to make sure that if other people do that same experiment, rabbit population, corn cyclicals to the season, the mean Greenwich time, that you might be dealing with inside of here that change like neutrinos inside of the set, you get this little bear in the terrarium here, and you're gonna stay. So depending on usually just the flashpoint to the photoelectric effect here of which area, how do I depict the language, the combinations? Is it Hebrew, reading right to left? Is it American English, left to right? Is it analytical or schematic design writings? They often talk about that cuneiform as a well, not just eschatology, but a cuneiform is like it's the accountant. I'm accounting it. If the clay brick was still wet till the end of the day, then I can keep marking it, and it'll just read off after it's all dried or chiseled into a system where you're really missing a lot of the macro pieces by not integrating some photoelectric way of describing what it is you're doing, your tasks, some overall training methodology, and be sure to capstone that stuff. You want to be able to get them in there on math lines. So here again, I'm giving you a daily planner. Could start anywhere arbitrarily, but for sure I had the opportunity to go for a year, and that was clean right off the front of the year. Here's a master chart to keep track. Now we're filling in. Erase it. This is pen. You should be fine. Inside here, just little training tricks like that can make that difference. And now that you know that that's what that frame looked like, it'll change over this first week to get you your first base into the second week, the 5 days inside here with a chart that could correlate multiple different things. If the math and derivatives is in general one of the things you'll have to add together, the commutative, mutually exclusive, or permutations of the functional combinations of that weekly, monthly, I can't, it's E1S minus E2 combinative. If we're getting that, you'll get this in the very specific set in the Putnam here. We'll just use this here. Let's get this out of here real quick. Move this over. The whole line of zombie targets for you. Granny, she got a zombie target too in the corn garden here because she can become it. We all know it. I've seen it happen before.
That in the demo could fly, and apparently Scarbrand can't fly, so that could be a big difference between.
Just pause that. So I want you to have some fun with it too. This is here being your ATM. Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft, obviously, or some combination of that. Keep an eye on those wave functions. That's going to be things you're going to need later. We'll get other ones in the mill. Here's my, what do we got here? No, we want this. We want, my basic setup here is get you some kind of ladder set up and some environment. That becomes your tread docks on grooming and AR-15, your first base, right? And you're using the laws of motion, the NP problem, or the STEM Millennium math problems. And we'll get into the fire flower here in a hot, quick second of the 300 IQ skids to your checklist. I'll help you go through them, show you which one you need. It's hard without somebody in the room. It's just something, because I'm Pensrow practiced with 45-minute brick and jar conjectures under trigonometry. They're very different to me. I just don't think about these symbols and equations that way. They're going to play out A1 Torino MOB radius of people and personnel by that area on timelines in the field, in the area of superposition that generally by observation change delta alpha 1 over h, right? So change in field of the alpha particle is the movements of their smallest increments. And from here, I don't know what that'll be. Some kid just needs it for the fire plan. You're going to do, or here's actually the floor plan, some fixed blades on that stuff here, but the 5 saws you'll be running. They are artillery, and in a lot of the way, this corn garden how do we just set this up so we can even basically roll for stamina inside here is a huge portion, not just at a battlefield today, but something you'll need later in life about checking units. Is this thing what we say it is inside of there, or is Davey going to come in there with a slingshot and put it down? Something to consider sometimes. Let's see, make sure we're not running along on my clock here. Just, again, absorb what you can. Think about what it is. Most people know what it's doing, but we have different orientations and positions about how we look at that battlefield, what the combinations are, or whether we're going to change it in any way based in gravity, because a lot of that Gresham Law stuff has some stuff with it, but you just can't keep everything in the Smithsonian's and mark up the value of it. For it's still movement value if it took me to pick this thing up and move it carefully, safely once. you know, we can chisel it in. Not a big deal. So again, you know, I just want that concept. Anybody that's generally going to be coming in here soon, you know, or going to take a look at this stuff, you want to have a good idea. Now, this wasn't the video that I actually wanted, but into the Warhammer setups. Where'd she go? Here she goes. We're going to change some things out for your alpha particle and psi particle. Psi particle, huh? Just real quickly, if I can find it out here, you know, after you get your basic standards, we're going to make you a character card. The Salty Sharps and the Sharp Salty. The Sharp Salty is going to be in charge of our Dreadnought units, right? Our Berserkers, or however that works, to our Man, Woman, Vitruvian position, Arbiters, of that's how you design a character card in such a way that I can do the moral license on a guy's raises and promotions. Right, because it's going to be PAW 600 later from 670 and 150, blindfolded, fire and pin in the top left position, Sarge. 10 to the 120th, and or landscapers maps, or 10 to the 78 iron in the pipes, in terms of what we're slinging downrange as it pops up, Camp 1, Camp 2, Camp Lejeune, and change of field. So that's something here at the Acid Marshmallow Testing Factory that we do, and it's something that I want everybody else to be out there be able to do too. So get some. Usa. Catch you on the next one.